You know that feeling when someone asks you something and every alarm bell in your head starts ringing? That split second where your body knows something's wrong before your brain catches up? That's not paranoia talking. That's your primal instinct screaming at you that you're dealing with someone who doesn't have your best interests at heart. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Professional manipulators don't just lie with their statements. They weaponize their questions. They use inquiries like precision tools, carefully designed to dismantle your confidence, redirect blame, and make you forget what you were even upset about in the first place. And today, we're going to dissect 5 of the most dangerous questions that liars consistently use. These aren't random phrases. They're calculated moves in a game you didn't know you were playing. By the time we're done here, you'll be able to recognize these tactics the second they leave someone's mouth. Whether it's a so-called friend who always seems to create drama, a romantic partner whose stories never quite add up, a coworker who throws you under the bus while smiling to your face, or even a family member who constantly rewrites history, some questions are massive red flags wrapped in innocent packaging. Now, before we dive in, let me be clear about something. This isn't about making you paranoid or suspicious of everyone around you. This is about giving you clarity, because when you understand the psychology behind manipulation, you stop being an easy target. You stop doubting yourself. You stop accepting blame for things that aren't your fault. So here's what we're covering today. First, the exact psychological questions that liars deploy to shift responsibility away from themselves. Second, why these questions feel so disorienting and make you question your own judgment. Third, how to recognize them instantly in real-time conversations. And finally, the most important part, how to respond in a way that protects your mental and emotional well-being. By the end of this video, you'll have a mental framework that lets you sit across from a manipulator and think, I see exactly what you're doing, and it's not going to work on me. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the psychological tactics that liars use when they know they're backed into a corner. Question number 1. Why are you overreacting? Let me paint you a picture. You discover that someone has been dishonest with you. Maybe they said one thing to your face and something completely different behind your back. Maybe they made a promise and broke it without a second thought. Maybe they got caught in an obvious contradiction. You approach them calmly. You present what you know. And instead of acknowledging what they did, instead of taking responsibility, they look at you with this expression of confused innocence and say something like, why are you overreacting to this? This is psychological warfare disguised as a simple question. What they're doing is redirecting the entire conversation away from their actions and onto your response to their actions. They're not addressing what they did. They're making you defend how you feel about what they did. This is a diversionary tactic that's brilliant in its simplicity, because the moment you start explaining why you're not overreacting, you've already lost. You're now justifying your emotions instead of holding them accountable for their behavior. You've entered their territory, playing by their rules. Here's the deeper truth behind this question. Liars use it to invalidate your perception of reality. If they can convince you that your reaction is the problem, then they never have to admit that their action was the problem. They're essentially gaslighting you into believing that you're too sensitive, too emotional, too dramatic to see things clearly. And if you accept that frame, if you internalize that narrative, they can continue their pattern of dishonesty indefinitely, because you'll always second-guess yourself before confronting them again. The psychology here is about emotional discrediting. If your emotions aren't valid, then your concerns aren't valid. If your concerns aren't valid, then their behavior doesn't need to change. It's a perfect closed loop that keeps you trapped and them free from consequences. Question number 2. Don't you trust me? This one is particularly insidious because it weaponizes the foundation of relationships against you. Trust is sacred. It's the bedrock of any meaningful connection between human beings. And manipulators know this, so they use it as a shield. Picture this scenario. You notice something suspicious. Maybe their story has changed. Maybe they're being secretive about something they used to be open about. Maybe you found evidence that directly contradicts what they told you. You bring it up not with accusations, but with genuine concern and confusion. And instead of providing clarity or transparency, they flip the script entirely with this emotional manipulation. Don't you trust me? This question is designed to make you feel guilty for having legitimate concerns. It transforms them from the person who created doubt into the victim of your suspicion. It's emotional judo, using your own values against you. Here's what makes this particularly effective. Most good people want to be trusting. We want to believe the best in others. We don't want to be the suspicious, paranoid person in a relationship. So when someone we care about implies that we're failing them by not trusting blindly, it hits a nerve. But here's the reality check you need. Genuinely trustworthy people don't demand trust when confronted with reasonable questions. They provide answers. They offer transparency. They understand that trust, once damaged, needs to be rebuilt through consistent, honest action, not through emotional manipulation. When someone asks if you trust them while simultaneously avoiding accountability, they've already given you the answer. They're not trustworthy in that moment because they're prioritizing their escape route over your peace of mind. This question is emotional blackmail. It's an attempt to make you prove your loyalty by abandoning your discernment. And that's exactly the dynamic that allows dishonest people to continue operating without consequences. Question number 3. What exactly do you want me to say? Oh, this one makes my blood boil because of how calculated it is. Let's break down what's really happening when someone uses this phrase. You've confronted them with something real, something concrete. Maybe it's a lie you caught them in. Maybe it's a boundary they violated. Maybe it's a pattern of behavior that's been hurting you. You're being honest about your feelings and your experience. And their response? What exactly do you want me to say? On the surface, this might seem like they're asking for guidance on how to make things right. But that's not what's happening at all. What they're actually doing is pretending to be so confused, so overwhelmed, so incapable of basic human accountability that they need you to script their response for them. This is manipulation through learned helplessness. They're acting like taking responsibility is so complicated, so beyond their capabilities, that you should just give up and move on. But here's the thing. If someone genuinely cares about you and understands they've hurt you, they don't need a script. The words come naturally because they're rooted in genuine remorse. I'm sorry. I messed up. I understand why you're hurt. Here's what I'm going to do differently. When someone asks what they should say, what they're really communicating is this. I'm not actually sorry, but I want to say whatever will make this conversation end fastest. They want you to hand them the magic words that will get them off the hook without them having to do the work of genuine reflection, accountability, or change. They want the appearance of resolution without any of the substance. This question is also a subtle way of making you feel demanding or high maintenance. Like you're requiring a performance from them instead of just basic honesty and respect. It's designed to frustrate you into dropping the issue entirely. Question number 4. Can't we just move past this? Yes, the premature closure attempt. This is the question liars ask when they realize the conversation isn't going in their favor and they need an exit strategy. Here's how this typically unfolds. You're in the middle of discussing something important. Maybe you're trying to understand why they did what they did. Maybe you're expressing how their actions impacted you. Maybe you're trying to establish a boundary to prevent it from happening again. And right when things are getting real, right when actual accountability might happen, they throw this out. Can't we just move past this already? What they're doing is trying to skip the most important part. They want reconciliation without resolution. They want peace without process. They want you to forgive without them actually having to change, apologize, or even acknowledge what they did wrong. This question preys on your desire for harmony. Most people don't enjoy conflict. We want things to feel good again. We want the tension to dissolve. And manipulators exploit that desire by offering you a shortcut that actually goes nowhere. Because here's the truth. You can't move past something that hasn't been properly addressed. That's not healing. That's suppression. That's sweeping problems under a rug that's already bulging with all the other issues you've been told to just get over. Real moving forward requires acknowledgement of what happened, understanding of the impact, genuine remorse, and commitment to different behavior. Skipping those steps doesn't create closure. It creates unfinished business that will resurface later, usually at the worst possible time. When someone asks if you can just move past something before any of that work has been done, They're telling you something important. They value their comfort more than your healing. They value avoiding consequences more than earning back your trust. Question number 5. Are you really going to ruin everything over this? This is the nuclear option, the guilt trip of all guilt trips. The question liars ask when they know their back is against the wall and they need to make you the villain in the story. Let's talk about what's happening psychologically when someone deploys this question. You've reached a breaking point. Maybe you've discovered a significant betrayal. Maybe you've realized a pattern of dishonesty. Maybe you've simply decided that you're not going to tolerate being treated a certain way anymore. You're setting a boundary or making a decision based on protecting yourself. And their response is to frame your act of self-preservation as an act of destruction. Are you really going to ruin everything over this? Notice the manipulation here. They're minimizing whatever they did, this, while maximizing the consequences of you responding to it. Ruin everything. They're making their betrayal sound trivial while making your reaction sound catastrophic. This question is designed to make you feel responsible for the relationship ending, even though they're the one who damaged it. It's an attempt to transfer guilt from the person who broke trust to the person who's responding to that broken trust. But here's what they're really asking. Are you really going to have standards and boundaries that I have to respect? And the answer they want is no. They want you to back down, to accept less, to tolerate behavior that hurts you because the alternative, them facing consequences, is inconvenient for them. This question reveals something crucial about how manipulators think. They believe that keeping them in your life is more important than your self-respect, your boundaries, or your well-being. They genuinely cannot understand why you wouldn't sacrifice your peace for their comfort. Final thoughts. So let's bring this all together. Liars ask questions not to gain understanding, but to maintain control. They use inquiries as weapons to redirect, deflect, and distort reality. They turn conversations about their actions into conversations about your reactions. But now you know the playbook. You can recognize these questions for what they are. Manipulation tactics disguised as genuine dialogue. When someone tries to make you defend your emotions instead of addressing their actions, you've spotted the trap. When someone weaponizes trust to avoid accountability, you've seen through the game. When someone pretends they don't know how to take responsibility, you know it's an act. When someone rushes you toward closure without resolution, you understand its avoidance. And when someone tries to make you the villain for having boundaries, you recognize it as their last desperate move. The power you have now is awareness. You're no longer an easy target. You're no longer going to doubt yourself when your gut tells you something is wrong. You're going to trust your perception, honor your feelings, and refuse to accept blame for other people's choices. Remember this, if maintaining a relationship requires you to betray yourself, the price is too high. Your peace, your dignity, and your truth are not negotiable. The next time someone tries one of these questions on you, you'll see it coming from a mile away. And you'll know exactly what it means, that you're dealing with someone who values manipulation over authenticity. Stay sharp, stay aware, and never let anyone convince you that your reality isn't real. If this resonated with you, make sure to subscribe. This content is for people who refuse to play games and who see through the smoke and mirrors. Let's keep exposing these tactics together. And remember, the best defense against manipulation is knowledge. You have it now. Use it wisely.